Good day, everyone. Greetings from the ACE radio show. Today we are having an interview with my dear friend and colleague, Vidmantas, an Erasmus student of archaeology who is at the very moment staying in beautiful Crete. We are having this conversation via call. Good evening, Vidmantas.
Good evening, Laura. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Just perfect.
I would like to ask you some questions about you and about your experiences during your Erasmus stay in Crete, if you don't mind, of course.
By all means, please ask me.
Then we shall begin. You are staying in Crete. I have heard
Yes.
that there were more options, more countries that you could have chosen from to travel to. What was the reason for your choice to come to Crete?
Well, several factors came into that decision. My original choice was Bologna, Italy, but after conducting a little bit of research, I realized that it might have been a little bit too expensive for me. And also, I read some reviews by students that were in there last year or some other years, and they said that absolutely nobody speaks any English there, and you must know some Italian to get by. And yeah, I wasn't going to learn a whole language just to go there. And at the same time, since the University of Bologna seemed like uh, a slightly more prestigious university than here or even Vilnius,
Yeah.
I thought my chances to get in there would be a little bit lower. So I chose Crete as my second option. But there was also another option in Ireland, in Cork. But that was my second option. And since I got in here first, I went here. So yeah.
Yeah, and what is it like there? Your first impressions, and have you faced any major difficulties while staying in Crete?
Well, my very first impressions here were slightly negative because the moment I arrived, I was almost hit by a car
Oh,
within 10 minutes of being on this island. So, yeah, I noticed pretty quickly that people do not really like following traffic rules in here. So, but over time, I think I just got used to it. What else? I also really don't like how they handle their public transport.
yeah,
It's never clear when and which buses will arrive, you know.
yeah.
Uh, there is no like proper timetable or anything, and even if you find somewhere that some bus will arrive at a certain time, it won't. It will arrive when it arrives, and you don't even know if it's your bus because it's not signed or anything. You just have to hope that it goes where you want it to go. So yeah, public transport is horrible.
That sounds so difficult.
But to say something at least positive, uh, I think I said incorrectly that my first impression was the bad traffic. My real first impression was before I even landed here. When my plane was landing, I saw like the most beautiful view I think in all my life. I never seen like actual mountains and like the Mediterranean Sea or anything, and the views were spectacular. That's the one thing that this place really shines on,
I'm
the
so
good
glad.
views.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting you. I just wanted to say that I'm so glad that you had
All
this
right.
opportunity.
Yeah.
So it must have been hard to travel so far since you are from Lithuania. You are traveling by plane, am I correct?
Yes, you are correct. And yeah, this is the furthest away I ever been from home. I've never really left Lithuania or any other country other than Latvia, which is like the same as Lithuania. So I had a little bit of a culture shock here. But yeah, when you stay in a place for a longer time, any place can become sort of like home, I guess.
And did you have any troubles regarding traveling? Maybe something that annoyed you, even like long plane transfers and such?
Well, for coming here, no, it was very efficient, very quick, too quick even. Like my brain was not able to adapt to the new weather that they had here. Because like 1 hour I'm like freezing in Vilnius, and like 3 hours later I'm like in a hot summer place where it's like 32 degrees Celsius. Yeah, so it only took me about 3 hours to travel here. Going back home, though, that's another question because, yeah, I will have to make, I think, 4 transfers just to get home.
Oh my, that sounds horrible. But I hope it's going to go as smooth as your trip to Crete. And yeah, every country has its differences from one another, right? As you said yourself, you got a little bit
Yeah,
culturally shocked. But have you noticed any similarities when it comes to comparison of Crete and Lithuania?
I think the biggest similarity that they have with us is their obsession with basketball, probably. I remember going into a cafe to drink some coffee, and like they had these TVs that showed some sort of EuroLeague basketball match.
Yeah.
And I think their team lost or something because some men in there, they lost their shit. They started like breaking stuff. They started hitting chairs and stuff. That's how passionate they are about basketball.
Similar to Lithuanians, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Some say that basketball is like the second religion of Lithuania. I think it's the same here. Oh, also like sometimes when I go to a kiosk to buy something, uh, well, the sellers ask where I'm from. And when I tell them I'm from Lithuania, they're always like, "Oh, Sabonis, right? Very good basketball player." So yeah, they think about basketball a lot here.
Yeah, well, that's nice. Let's talk about your studies. What did you like about your
God.
studies at the University of Crete, and what did you dislike?
To be perfectly honest, I don't really have anything to like because it was not at all how I imagined it would be. I mean, uh, I don't really attend any classes at all other than the modern Greek language class because I get this feeling from the professors that if you do not speak their language, they don't really want to have any business with you. They just throw some assignment to you and that's it. Don't show up to my face until the end of the semester, you know. So yeah, I cannot really tell anything about my studies because I simply haven't been to any classes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
as you mentioned, you were expecting your classes to be held in English, right?
Well, it's a strange thing because as I was registering for this place, it was written that the classes are normally in Greek, but it's possible to arrange like them to be held in English as well. But that was not the case when I arrived here. Just like one professor outright just said, You must attend my classes and learn Greek. That's it.
So they're not
Yeah.
very cooperative.
Yeah, not cooperative at all. Like I said, I just get this general attitude that they don't really care that much about us. If you cannot do what they want, then don't show up at all. That's the kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess we should put the studies behind us for a bit at least. You have been in Crete for 3 months now, correct? You
I
prob
think so. I haven't been counting, but probably yes.
Yeah,
Since September 28th, I think.
you maybe even for longer. You probably feel a bit homesick already. What do you miss the most about Lithuania?
I don't know. It's kind of weird because when you're in Lithuania, you don't think about these things because you just like have them as a given thing. Like
Yeah.
I miss my own language, as weird as it sounds. Uh, Actually, I even think that after such a long time, I will feel weird hearing my own language around me again. I might accidentally start speaking English with shopkeepers or whatever,
Yeah,
out of
completely
habit.
get you.
Uh, uh, of course, like I already mentioned, I miss our efficient public transport. We really do not know how good we have it until you get that taken away from you.
Yeah,
Uh,
totally.
I miss my instruments. I miss my friends. I miss my family. The
Yeah.
regular things.
But did you find any new friends during your trip and how did you spend your time with them? Any fun activities?
Yeah, I generally do not find like a lot of friends. It's generally just two people. One Italian guy named Alessandro
Mm-hmm.
and another Turkish girl named Sema. And I don't know, since we live in a relatively small town, we don't really have much to do. So if we meet, we just usually just walk and talk about random stuff. Sometimes we
Yeah.
go get coffee or something. Uh, Out of the more interesting stuff that we did, well, we went to visit the two other main cities of Crete, Chania and Heraklion.
Oh.
Yeah, Chania is like what we imagine a stereotypical Mediterranean city to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Beautiful beaches, very tourist-like, full
Yeah.
of like little souvenir shops, and it's essentially just a very, very large old town, like no new buildings at all, just.
Mm-hmm.
And Heraklion, on the other hand, it's like the administrative capital of Crete, and it's like completely opposite. It's like it doesn't really have, obviously, it's by the water, but it doesn't really have any beaches. It's mostly just like, shipyards. And the whole city, too, is like, uh, seemed a little bit polluted and not much to do, quite kind of dirty, but at least the one thing that I really liked about it is that they had this very, very large archaeological museum. I think it
Oh.
was the largest museum I ever visited in my life because I walked through it at a very fast pace and it still took me like almost 3 hours. If I
Oh my
like
god.
tried doing it a little bit slower, to take in more information, to read some stuff, it would be very easy to spend like an entire day there.
Yeah.
And I probably still missed some rooms in there. And it was completely free too. It's
Oh,
completely free for European citizens.
that's so amazing. First time
Yeah,
hearing something like this.
I got to see some stuff that I was used to only seeing in like books,
Yeah.
that they were like the slideshows that they showed us in our archaeology classes. And to see these things with my own eyes, it was kind of good. And
Yeah. A different level of experience.
yeah,
And just talking more about your friends, I must say, I remember seeing your story where the Italian guy was teaching you how to make Italian pasta.
oh
Can you
yes,
tell
that's
me
the
more
one
about it?
thing.
Yep,
I'm sorry for
it's
interrupting you,
okay.
but yes, uh, uh, we all almost since the time we met, we were each. I'm not. Ah, my brain is not working. I'm sorry.
It's
Uh,
fine.
Let me formulate the sentence properly. Like ever since we met, we were like talking about the different stuff that our countries specialize in. And obviously, Italy is like famous for its food. So he has been promising us that he will show us how to like do proper Italian food and stuff. And yeah, there was this one time when we all came over to my place and he just showed us how to make like a proper Italian carbonara
That
with
sounds
all
so
the
cool.
steps and everything. And yeah, I memorized the recipe. I made it for Christmas, even though it upset many of my friends, including you, that I did. But I don't care. It was delicious. It was the most delicious thing I ate on Christmas. And I'm glad I know how to do it properly.
And are you planning to teach any of your new Forging friends of how to make some traditional Lithuanian food?
It's very hard to do that because, like, initially I wanted to like teach them how to do šaltibarščiai,
Yeah.
but it's impossible to get all the ingredients right. I mean, they have like kefir here, but it's completely different from ours. It's more of like a yogurt drink in here. You could not make šaltibarščiai from it. Other stuff, I don't know, but like the closest thing I did do is again on Christmas I made potato pancakes.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
nobody has ever heard of those here, and like everyone loved it, and I was surprised. I was expecting them not to really like them because I myself, I don't know, I like potato pancakes, but they're not like one of my favorite foods. But like everyone that tried them, they couldn't stop eating them. They were like, "Oh my God, they're so good."
Did you
So
serve it with sour cream?
they do not have sour cream here, but I noticed that you could serve it with either Greek tzatziki sauce or just Greek yogurt. And generally, Greek yogurt is almost exactly the same as sour cream as far as taste goes, and it worked wonderfully.
Yeah, so it must have reminded you about a lot about your home, about Lithuania.
I guess, yeah, potatoes are a big part of Lithuania.
So we talked a lot about your trip. Now let's talk about you and your hobbies. What do you like to do in
Sure.
your free time, Vidmantas?
In here or just in general?
In general.
Well, it's a mixture of a few things, I think. Like, I used to like drawing a lot when I was a child, but like I don't really do that anymore now.
Yeah.
Uh, I used to try writing stuff, but again, I don't do that anymore. Like right now, like my main hobbies are generally just learning languages. I don't know why I like that, but I just like learning as many languages as possible. And music. I'm trying to learn music now. Um, I got a, I bought a gay. I'm not gay. I bought a bass guitar like over a year ago from my first salary, and I'm slowly improving, I guess, on that. But I obviously I could not bring my instruments here with me, so I might be rough around the edges now when I come back.
Yeah. So, as you said, you like playing guitar, and that is very wonderful. And would you like to share, maybe, if you have your favorite piece to play?
My favorite piece to play.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I have one. Like, it really depends on the time when I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Some one day I might have my favorite song for that day, and on the next one I might have a different one. So I cannot really like specify one single song that I really love to play.
Well, diversity is always good, and I must ask, is there a musician that inspires you the most?
Hmm. Well, I really like the Beatles. They're uh, they're this one band that has managed to evolve very much in just a span of 7 years. Uh, they went from just regular boys to like the most famous musicians in the world in just such a short time.
Yeah.
And by the time they were as old as I am, they were already on the top of the world. So that even makes me feel a little bit small.
Oh,
But at the
don't.
same time, it's at the same time it's very inspiring, I think.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, Beatles are a really wonderful band. I must agree. And let's come back to archaeology some more. What is
sure.
it like to study archaeology in Lithuania, and do you see your future related with this profession?
Hmm. Well, it wasn't exactly what I imagined it would be. I I initially imagined that there would be a lot more like practical learning involved, but it's mostly just theory, and worst of all, it's the same kind of theory every year. Well, I cannot speak for this year. I heard they were actually learning some useful things this year, and I sadly missed it. But uh, for the past 3 years that I was learning it, we were repeating the same theoretical things over and over again. It didn't matter what the class's name was.
Yeah.
Eventually, they always brought back the same material over and over again. And I don't know, it kind of made me lose a bit of love for this thing that I might have had. And at the same time, I don't know, I can't really imagine myself being like a professional archaeologist in the future.
And where else maybe there's another profession that you see yourself involved with.
Sadly, no. I'm like in a dark place right now. I
Yeah,
really don't know.
let's not go there then. So you mentioned your favorite musicians, the Beatles, not long ago, but do you have the most inspiring archaeologist that you could name?
Hmm. The most inspiring archaeologist. I really don't know. I don't think so.
No
Really.
one stood out for you from the crowd?
Well, I mean, Gimbutena might be inspiring a little bit because she came from this place and really made a name for herself. She's known all over the world, but still, uh, she's not like inspirational to me on a level that like I would strive to be like her. I don't know.
Okay. I must say, Vidmantai, you are a very interesting person to talk to. Unfortunately, our
Am
time
I
is
though?
running low. You are. Don't say anything. Therefore, I would like to ask you a final question. Since this
Go
year
ahead.
is coming to an end, what would you like to wish for our listeners and everyone else that you know for the next year, 2022?
Well, seeing how things are going since 2020, I think I would want to wish every single person on earth to finally have a little bit of stability, peace, and health for the next year. Because that's those few things that we did not sadly have for a few years now.
Thank you so much for joining me this evening and thank you for all your beautiful wishes for the New Year's. I hope to see you on our next show in the future.
Thank you for having me.